Alright. Let's see if the transition worked. Yes, it worked. Huzzah! Hello,
It did
everybody.
what it was supposed to.
Huzzah! Minor adjustments. Okay, there we go. Hello, hello. It is I, Beth, and I have Kat with me, and we're going to be discussing the Bendy news that has come out over the course of the week. So
Yes, we are.
spoilers abound. What would you like to start with, Kat?
I mean, I'm good with anything. It's your stream. You're the one who makes the rules here.
Okie dokie. I guess we could start with our most recent news, the reveal of the director of the Bendy movie, Andre Overdahl.
Yes, he's Norwegian.
Yes. Let's see. Let me pull up the little thing because when somebody saw that, the resident film guy on one of the servers that I'm in gave all the knowledge.
I was gonna say they gave you the lowdown.
Yes. He is the director behind Troll Hunter, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and The Last Voyage of the Demeter, among many, many other horror adjacent movies.
Yeah. I've never seen any of his work, so I can't attest to his quality, but friends that I have who have seen his work think he's pretty swell. So that's good.
Yeah, same here. I don't. Yeah, the film guy in the server says definitely recommending his stuff, from great found footage monster film to basically the live action the mortuary assistant before the game even existed, adaptations of scholastic horror stories, and a thrilling singular chapter in a great literary work. Just pulling up his IMDb, see what else we got.
Yeah, no, his IMDb looked pretty solid. Apparently he's been doing this since 1997.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's been doing this as long as I've been alive.
Nice. So he's upcoming for the Magic Order TV series and Future Murder was one of his films back in 2000. Yeah, most recent film was The Voyage of the Demeter. Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was a take on the events in Dracula, where Dracula went and murdered everybody on the Demeter.
Listen, sometimes you gotta have a little murderous Dracula in your movie lineup, because why not?
Yeah. But yeah, he is the director.
Yeah. He sure is. We still don't know anything truly meaningful about this movie, I gotta be honest with you. And that's my one concern. Like, I understand it's very early in development. I don't expect us to know a lot about it, but I do have several questions. Like, and one of them I think has a chance of having been answered, but it's a little vague. Notice they called it the Bendy movie and Bendy and the Ink Machine. And that indicates to me that this is gonna be a retelling of the first game. And oh boy, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I'm getting his. So, so everybody knows, basically, yeah, last night the Bendy team posted on their YouTube channel for the premiere of the director announcement. It's about 1 minute and 36 seconds, and it's essentially like, here's ominous background, here are the logos of all the companies.
And they were good looking logos. I'll give them that. It was some really great motion graphics.
Yeah.
Like, they're taking that seriously. Good for them.
Yeah. And then, from the director of all these stuff, Andre.
3 movies.
3 recent movies that most people relatively know. We have the director
Yeah.
announcement, and then we have essentially about half half a minute of Andre talking to the camera as he has Bendy in a Bendy plush in a stranglehold. I think it's adorable. Very, I'm finding a
It's
lot of joy in how he's holding that plushie.
Oh, me too. That was like the best part. Thank you, Andre. I hope you get to keep that thing.
Yeah, and he essentially, I'm just skimming over the. He's basically like, "Hi, I'm the director."
Hey, I'm Andre Overall, and I am so excited to be directing
Very
Bendy and the Ink
excited.
Machine. I promise we're going to make a really special movie, something that all the fans are going to.
He says he promises that it's going to be something that the fans are going to love, that it's going to be.
Prop 4 ensures safety.
Here we go. Hold on. Gotta get the transcript. Okay, what he says, I promise we're going to make a really special movie, something that all the fans are going to love, something that honors the fantastic characters and fun world and everything we love about the Bendy game. I couldn't be more excited, and this guy is going to grace the big screen very soon. So, yeah. Admittedly,
Yeah.
the video is a little.
It's a little what, Beth?
I think it's kind of goofy, and not just because how he's holding the plushie in this stranglehold.
Yeah. And Goofy's okay.
Yeah,
I'm chill with Goofy.
yeah, it's goofy, and admittedly, the way it's kind of vague of like, oh yes, I promise it's going to be great. It's going to honor the fans, but it's kind of. I mean, what else is he going to say about it? But I don't know. He did not. I did not know he was a fan of Bendy. Let me put it like that.
Was he a fan of Bendy before getting contracted for this? We don't actually know.
Yeah, I mean, but you figure, if you're a director and you're like, hey, here's the options of films you can direct, and one of them is in. I would hope that he'd at least know a little bit.
I mean, I'm hoping so too. But it could very well be this is the first time he's heard of Bendy, and it's like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me research. Oh, I'm into this, and he's a newer fan rather than an older fan. I don't know what his history is with Bendy. I've never heard these two in the same sentence before, but I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, same here. I mean, at least we have we have we definitely know that it's going to be scary, and
Yeah,
the focus will be
and that.
horror.
Mm-hmm.
Which was kind of one of my concerns going into this, because I figured whoever the director was kind of gonna give us our direction of where the film's gonna go for.
Yeah, and they got a horror guy, like a guy who does horror.
The horror
So
guy.
that's reassuring. But also, this is apparently what I'm hearing from people who are fans of this guy is that there are a lot of practical effects within his film work. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I'm into that. I'm really into that actually. Like, give me some puppeteering of the Ink Demon. Oh my god, that would be fire.
Yeah. That'll be fun. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, just genuinely the thing that's going to kill me is the story. Until I know about the story, I have no real expectations, but I mean, there's lots of things I want for the Bendy movie. Some of them are more plausible than others.
Yeah. Hi, Bernie.
Hello, Bernie. Welcome.
I mean, there is a part of me that is kind of laughing a little bit internally because the guy who did the adaptation of Scholastic's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, is doing the thing that had the Scholastic book deal, multiple book deal, that is now
Really?
Yeah. Um,
Maybe that's how they connected.
maybe. But I just think it's kind of funny that it's like, oh yeah, Scholastic's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is the guy who did it is now behind Bendy, which had multiple Scholastic books behind it, and the shenanigans with that.
Yeah.
Watch it as be a plot twist of like, oh yes, this is going to be an adaptation of the uh one of the one of the books. Like, is it? It'll just be the Lost One adaptation or Fade to Black. Just a
See,
throw
the Lost Ones I think would be really interesting in movie form, but I wouldn't want that in movie form. I'd actually want something a little more akin to Dreams Come to Life. But after what happened with the graphic novel, I'm not sure that's on the table. Like, the biggest thing that I want out of this is if it is a Bendy movie and we're retreading old territory, I'd like to get some insight on some things that are new without, like, fundamentally changing the story of Batim. Like, so, Beth, stop me if I go too far here.
Okay.
But the thing about doing a Bendy and the Ink Machine movie, I don't think that's bad. But the game already exists in game format, and it has a story, and I don't want them to change it because I like the story of Bendy and the Ink Machine, even if it's a mess, because it is a mess, but it's my mess, and I'm sentimental about that mess. But also, like, from the perspective of from the perspective of it's a movie and movies excel at telling very different stories than a game would. I think there's a lot that you can explore with this story in that format. I just don't want them to like fundamentally change anything. Like, we know that it's gonna be it's probably gonna be the Dark Revival Ink Demon, even though that wasn't in Ink Machine, because they love the Dark Revival Ink Demon, and I'm like, okay, he's good, but he has a completely different flavor of horror from the Ink Machine Ink Demon. But it's like, also in there, it's I'm struggling to word this. I One of the things that was really appealing about Bendy and the Ink Machine was the audio logs, and that's really hard to like translate into movie format. Now, if they give us like occasional flashbacks of the studio in its heyday, I would be so into that. I really want that. I want to see what it looked like. Like, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, I like I either want it for me, I either want it to be a prequel to the prequel, and then like the last scene is Henry opening the door to the first game, or the first game sequence where it's like, all right, Joey, I'm here, let me see what you're hiding, or whatever. Or we
Let's
get
see.
those flashbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, I feel like if they want this to succeed or they want it to have substance, yeah, success, that's subjective. But if you want it to have substance, you got to give us a little bit more of what dragged us into this series in the first place. And I think for me, that's, who were these employees and how have they been twisted into monsters? Like, I think that's one of the things that makes Bendy really special. I want to see, hey, like, seeing how it went from this to this, that's meaningful. If you don't have that, your characters start to fall flat, which is what happens in Dark Revival, because we don't get any arc or growth or modicum of how these characters became the way they are. And it's like, I want that back.
We need to feel for these characters so we can sit and be in horror as we watch them go down this inky spiral and not being able to help.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot that you can do with it. And it's honestly, like, I really want this movie to be an original story, because I feel like, that would be a lot of fun, but I understand why they might retread on old game stuff. I just I want it to be good. Like, look, theater tickets are expensive. If I'm gonna go spend my money on a theater ticket, it better be, like, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that's a waste of my time and money.
You know, thinking of the theater things, I do have to wonder: Are we going to get this? Are we going to get funny, ridiculously impractical, bendy popcorn buckets?
I mean, the Meatleys expressed interest in that over on Twitter, so that's entirely possible. It's entirely on the table for now.
Projectionist popcorn bucket?
See, I would love that. I know it's probably going to be like, the Bendy trash can because, that's popcorn bucket shaped with a fun lid. But I would want the projectionist. I would proudly display that in my room. Like, oh my god, I would use that for everything.
Yeah. And it would be impractical, which it does seem to be a running trend, at least for some of the
Yeah.
popcorn buckets I've seen, where it's completely impractical.
Whatever it takes.
True.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. I also noticed that they are, and I could be misreading it, but they really are pushing the fact that the Bendy movie's coming soon.
Yeah, define soon. This team isn't very good at, having a consistent definition of soon.
Yeah. It's coming to the big screen pretty soon. We're wanting, the running joke of we want to have this out before sooner than the FNAF movie did.
I really hope that's not the case. I really hope this has nothing to do with the FNAF movie.
Yeah, Bernie, it should go without saying that soon can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
soon can mean a lot of things.
Yeah. And soon, and trying to be poke the FNAF bear is not going to end well.
For anybody.
No.
Like, as funny as it would be to have a bunch of Bendy and FNAF cosplayers in the theater at the same time, I'm not into that. I'd be into it from a cosplay perspective, but I don't want these movies to compete with each other. That's a recipe for disaster.
And I don't think they can. Like how you...
Yeah. Hello!
And, there's also a lot of other factors contributing to what constitutes as new. Is it we have the director, we have the script, we have the actors already chosen. We've actually secretly been filming for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
Without telling anybody. Or is it we have a director, we have ideas of what a script should be, but nothing's been put into stone outside of the producers, publishers, and director. So I mean, we have some information regarding the movie now, which is good and great. But I'm also kind of like, could we have just the tiniest bit more? Yeah, Bendy is cool.
Yeah. No, there's definitely
teaser trailers or images on Bendy's anniversary might be there soon.
You know, 4/14 or February 10th. February 10th is that the day Batum came out.
Yes.
I always mess this up.
February 10th is it's Bendy's birthday.
Yeah, so 4 days before Valentine's Day. I have a friend whose birthday is that day, so I should technically know it, but alas, life is cruel. But yeah, no, it's like, I'm hoping for some more news on one of these significant Bendy dates, because I feel like that would be the right time to tell it. But honestly, we just don't know what to expect. There's not enough out there.
Yeah.
I have been hearing a lot of people say, oh, I really hope this is like Roger Rabbit. And I'm like, I just want to put the kibosh on that. Like, I want it to be that too. In my heart of hearts, I desperately want that. But that takes a budget that they cannot possibly have. And if
Yeah,
they do, then maybe I'll eat my sock. I don't know.
yeah. I I think that's also it. I think that actually because FNAF in a way is the FNAF movie. Was obviously full disclaimer. I have not seen the FNAF movie in full.
I have twice, once in Spanish.
Oh, nice. But
Yeah, it's very good in Spanish.
it's good to know. But the FNAF was very much this is supposed to be a love letter to the FNAF fandom
Yeah,
and stuff. And Andre said in his little in the video, like we want this to be meaningful and good for the fans of Bendy and to do justice and paraphrasing
yeah.
obviously. But I think to an extent, unlike FNAF, Bendy's fandom is no two Bendy fans are the same.
It's true. It's very true.
And we're
We come
very
from
extreme.
many different backgrounds.
And it's what constitutes as because I feel like with Bendy in particular is that there are so many different ways Bendy goes for people that there's not a way to
Mhm.
make everybody happy. Like, for example, me, it is the occult animation, cartoony body horror that appeals to me with Bendy.
Same here.
For other people, it's the focus on the mechanical aspect, the at the risk of overgeneralizing, it is essentially the magic people versus the science people.
Some days it does feel like that, but there's also like a huge, huge, I don't want to say division, but like there's a lot of variety in like the parts of the parts of the Bendy stories that are meaningful to us. Like, I mean, I know that you're not as big into the books as I am, for example.
Yeah.
I love the books. I think their style of storytelling is fun. I think that it's engaging and like it gives us some insight into these characters that, in a way that the games don't. So it's like for me, I like Bendy when it is telling a story. I like Bendy when it has, deep and meaningful characters, which is sometimes, not always. But other people come to this for other reasons. Like maybe they really like monster designs. Maybe they really like the environment. Maybe they really like, maybe they like the sci-fi. Maybe they like the magic.
Yeah.
Maybe they're here for the comics. Maybe they're here for the animations and the audio logs. Like there's a whole slew of things to appreciate in Bendy. So it's like finding something that encompasses all of that is a really tall ask.
Yes, Kaiju, there are Bendy books. There is Dreams Come to Life. There is The Lost Ones. The most recent book, Fade to Black. There is the handbooks, the employee handbooks. They're basically game guides.
Yeah, game guides with a little extra, lore in there. There's the Crack Up comics,
Crack Up Comics.
which are, like these little short comic strips, but they're a lot of fun.
The Illusion of Living, which is the quote unquote Ben or Joey's memoir kind of thing.
It's really a Joey Drew character study, and it's honestly one of the best books of the bunch, even though it's a hard read.
Yeah. And like the books aren't the book like I thought The Illusion of Living was just this entertain for me it was an entertaining ride through Joey trying to be like, I'm totally not over my divorce.
Ah, yes, his divorce.
Divorce.
It's not actually a divorce, but we're calling it that.
You without knowing any of the context, you would have thought it was a divorce.
You know, Yeah, it's like, you know, I love that part of the storytelling. The books are fun. And
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, Illusion of Living is probably the best one, but Fade to Black's my favorite, in case anybody wondered. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I know that they don't have a lot to do with Ink Machine or Dark Revival at this point, but they were really fun for what they were, and it's like I want to go back to them because it was fun. And I could sit there just like surprised and excited after every single turn.
Yeah. And I think that's also going to be an interesting aspect because, for context, the handling of the book's canonicity has been a
left
flustercluck.
some it's bit left something to be desired, to say the least.
And I'm curious on how that's going to impact the movie because I feel like it's going to impact the movie, if not because,
It is.
yeah, because
Is it canon to the games? Nobody knows. Well, no, see, it's not going to be canon to the games unless it's successful. It's got to be a rousing success. Then it'll magically be canon to the games.
yeah, which nobody's going to like.
I will not like it. I don't want a movie to be required reading for understanding the games. I'm going to be so real with you.
Yeah. It's, but I think there's also the aspect where it's like there are people who are fans of the book. There are people who are fans of the book who handled the handling of the sudden switch to the canonicity okay, and who will treat the movie as okay, it's just a fun extra. There are some people who are going to who took the canonicity shenanigans very poorly and take it out on the film. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like, okay, dev team, we need to have a little bit more information. Not so much, but basically kind of like a almost like a hey, this is what to expect from the movie. This is the audience we are intending for the movie because that's another thing that's kind of come up of like what's the age range for Bendy?
Yeah, that would be really good to know.
Because like I do appreciate that the director Andre, he has done more graphic M-rated horror, and he has done adaptations of stuff meant for more of a teen audience. And technically speaking, because Scholastic Scariest Stories to Tell in the Dark is a middle grade young adult book. I can't remember off the top of my head,
I
but
wouldn't know.
he's done a range where he could technically do something for everybody. I I don't think the Bendy movie will come out next year. If
Yeah, that's way too soon.
if only because there's also The Cage and Lone Wolf and
Like, that's way too much all at once. And also, a movie takes a lot of time to do well.
yeah. Okay, Bernie says he did wonderfully with Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. That's good to hear.
Hey, it's good to know somebody who's actually seen this guy's movies. Because I'm just not a horror movie buff.
Yeah. I guess that's my other concern with it. It's like I hope that the film like I do want to have the horror. I do want them to like not necessarily hold back, but not be
Not alienate.
not alienate. I like I want to be able to be like, yes, I would like to go in and see the Bendy film and be able to feel not be sitting in the middle of it being like, oh gosh, this is the most uncomfortable thing I've been in. There's so much horror.
Like, I'm fine with it being scary. I will work on, building a tolerance for horror, like, in ways that I don't have already, just for the sake of, I want to watch this and enjoy it. But also, I mean, I do hope that the horror is tasteful, where it's like, it's fine if there are things like body horror and torture and this, that, the other, but can we not have a repeat of the secret ending of Dark Revival? Can we please like not have any insane asylums or imagery related to that in this? Because I'm feeling like that's it's a little in poor taste.
Yeah, let's not have, like Zion says, don't let it be a slaughterhouse or terrifier movie. Like Bendy's horror is different
It has
from
a flavor of horror.
it. Yeah, it has a flavor of horror, and I want to go into the film being like, this is my spooky scariness. That is the scariness I expect out of Bendy, not, oh gosh, why did I walk into it a completely different, why am I in Saw? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Henry, why are you here? We're all dying to find out. Why is this the Bendy movie? Of all things, it should have been mine.
I do want to see Alice Angel. I do.
Please.
Like, it does seem like like, come on, man. We need Alice. We need Twisted
I mean, I'm
Alice.
gonna be real with you. If they do, like, everything in live action, which I'm assuming they will, I will be very disappointed if it's not Lauren in some way. But I understand why it wouldn't be Lauren, because, like, there's a bunch of stuff with unions and contracts, and depending on where this is even being filmed, we don't even know what country this is being filmed in. It could be the US or it could be Canada.
It could be New Zealand.
It could be New Zealand. I really hope that they get some of the voice actors involved in some way. Like, if Dave Revis is not in some way in this movie as an onstage actor, I am going to be disappointed. Get Dave.
Yeah, that would be. I hope like they do like the FNAF where it's like where the big name influencers of, for lack of a better word, of FNAF
Yeah.
had a chance to cameo, whether it be a big cameo like Matt Pat's, Ness, or
Or,
like
or like
little,
Employee of the Month in the back there.
yeah. Like, I hope they do that for the Bendy community as well. And hello Kimberly. Like
Hello.
like audio logs would be an easy way to do it. I think, you know, old school photos would be kind of fun.
Yeah, like, I mean, we do have that one, photo of Joey and Norman with the projector there. I feel like, sprinkling just a little bit of that in the background would be really, really nice.
Yes.
Just, like, ultimately, regardless of how you feel about the FNAF movie, I think that the one thing that it did really well was it is a love letter film. And it feels like it pokes fun at its fan base, it understands its fan base, but it also, does things that feel like, gratitude. And ultimately, that's what I want from the Bendy movie. I want it to feel like it has gratitude and care put into it. Like, hey, yeah, you're making a Bendy movie, but it's like you're making something that feels like it understands the people that are coming in to see it.
Yeah.
And that's a really tall ask. But I just hope they make an honest attempt at that. Regardless of whether or not it's successful, I want to feel like there's some love in there when I go into that theater.
Yeah. Very much agree with that. Because Bendy team's gonna try. Give them benefit of the doubt. They gotta try.
Yeah. Oh, Bernie over here with you really don't want it to be an it was all a dream or an illusion twist. I'm with you. That's silly. Like, there are times where you can make it was all a dream work, but I don't think this is one of those stories, and I don't want them to remove all of the impact by making it not real.
Yeah, they're gonna, like, Bendy's
The
a
cycle.
already got a mountain to climb with chapter 5 of Batim revealing it to be a cycle, a time
It
loop.
was all a time loop.
And then, acknowledge, and then the elephant in the metaphorical the metaphorical elephant of that DR with Henry's just a clone.
It still annoys me. Like, way to remove any impact from Henry as a character. He didn't have that much to begin with, but you've really just sunk it. And it's like, if we have Henry in this movie, he better get some characterization.
Yeah.
He better have impact. Otherwise, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
It's like we need the characters need to have an impact in the story, and it needs to be solid because it's kind of gonna be a hard sell because people have their own ideas and feelings and adaptations of the characters. Like the running joke is Sammy's never gonna be pointy enough.
Listen, I don't think that's a joke with anybody but me. Listen, you tell me he's a pointy bird man. He is a pointy bird man in my heart.
Yeah.
He will never be pointy enough. When they draw him. But it's fine. It is fine. Like, I don't expect his actor, if he gets an actor, to be pointy. Because that's asking a lot. But I also hope that I really hope that when it comes to live action actors, that they look nothing like what the graphic novel characters looked like, because that would just be funny.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty funny. I think, like, if we're like, I think best case scenario, we tell a story that is either strictly adapting the events of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Second best option is to tell an original story with maybe just Henry and Joey as the characters that are recognizable, or
Yeah.
but I don't know necessarily if having, if bringing back the old fan favorites is a good idea.
Or a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, because, the graphic novel was definitely a choice that was made, and the subsequent...
It was divisive.
It was divisive. And I think since Kaiju, 4:30 a.m., go to sleep.
Wow.
My dude. The VOD will be here. But anyways, I think the problem is that Bendy, while yes, has great characters, the characters are just enough not described or not. We don't know about as much of them, so people are gonna have opinions one way or the other regarding who gets casted as the recognizable characters. Like, I imagine there will be pitchforks, there will be angry people going ah, la, 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 like Donnie from the Thornberrys if the wrong actor TM is cast as any of the characters.
And I'll be real with you, I don't care. Like, it does not matter to me what big names, quote unquote, you have in this movie. I just want them to be good actors. Okay? Like, that would be, because the Mealy put out a tweet like months ago at this point, I think over the summer, asking like, hey, who do you not want in the Bendy movie? And everybody was like, Chris Pratt. And I'm like, I'm with you. I'm sick of seeing him in things when he only has one character and it's just him. But like, I would only want Chris Pratt in the Bendy movie if he fit the character that he was assigned. Like, it's not about the name recognition for me. I just want you to pick somebody that can do a good job.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense to me to, like, that's such a weird thing to put out there into the world. I'm still not quite over it.
Look,
It's
I'm
like,
gonna be real. I will accept
Yeah,
Chris
go ahead.
Pratt. I will accept Chris Pratt if he is playing every single character and it is played straight.
Oh my god. See, actually, I think if he could do a New York accent, which I don't have much hope for, I'm gonna be honest with you, I can see Chris Pratt as a Wally Franks, and that's about it.
Yeah. I think I'm in the camp though that I don't want any big names this
That's fair.
in this film because my issue that I have, and then this is a me thing, is that the big name actors, it is not, oh, they're acting as this. It's, oh, it's this actor pretending to be this character. I can't separate.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the issue I've got with Wicked and all that and all the other famous movies that are out and whatnot. Like Matthew
Hmm.
Lillard is a different individual altogether. I will not argue about Shaggy, the Uber God, and all
Nah,
that.
he's just Shaggy.
Yeah. But I think like it's twofold. We don't I don't want to have to be like and try and force myself to be like, no, this is not this famous actor. This is Norman or this is Joey, this or whatever. And I also think that I don't think Bendy needs a famous actors in the film. I think that I
Yeah.
mean it's already going to have a lot going for it because it's a well-known mascot horror slash indie horror.
You
It
know, save for the fact that nobody knew it had a sequel.
infamy, all press is good press apparently.
But no, yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
But it's got a famous director putting this putting it together, so you're going to have that fan base. You're going to have the people who are like, "Oh, it's a mascot horror. Oh, it's a video game adaptation." Like there is a lot of things that are already setting the movie up that even if it bombs horrifically, it's still going to make some money. So I don't want to see
Yeah.
famous people. Like I want some I want the actors, you know, if this movie pops off and is great, this is the launching pad for the actors.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And I do want it to succeed.
Yeah, I want it to be good, and then I want it to succeed. Like, I also come at it from, the perspective of I'm a voice actor, and if there's anything that, annoys me to no end, it's when we get, celebrity voice actors. Like, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that. Um, but there's something for me that's frustrating about, hey, you take something that has established voice actors and then you completely change the cast to be all these celebrity voices. Not celebrity voices, just celebrities who happen to be voicing it. Like the Mario movie, that's my biggest issue with it. Okay, other than the pacing. The pacing's awful. But like, oh, so we've got we've got Chris Pratt. It's not because Chris Pratt is Mario. Don't care. It's just like, was this your best choice for Mario? Or did you do this because Chris Pratt is a recognizable name? It's just like do we really want to disrespect Charles Martinet here? Do we really want to disrespect the guy who was going to be coming down the pipeline to voice Mario after Charles? I don't know. I just, I feel like it was a disservice to the Mario cast to replace them with celebrities. And I feel like the same thing could happen with these live action actors because it is likely going to be live action for Bendy. I just want them to be thoughtful about it. I want them to tackle it with grace and love and just thoughtfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like if you choose a celebrity, it's got to be because they bring something specific to the role, not because they're recognizable.
Yeah.
Okay. Like again, also and because this is an indie game, I do want it to be indie people. Like I want to see more names that I don't know yet. I want to see more people shine that haven't had the opportunity to before. Like there's potential for great stuff there.
Yeah. I'm with.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna shout out Zion here. As long as the actors fit their roles and represent the character the best they can, I'm fine with. However, and I think for big name IPs, I think they should get small unknown names. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's like, it's gonna succeed. You got the big names. Is it gonna succeed as much as like FNAF or Mario?
Debatable.
Debatable. But it's, big IPs, you can get away with having unknown.
Absolutely. I think part of it for me is also like, oh god. I mean, I just want to see this be interesting. Like, regardless of what the story is, regardless of all of that, just be interesting. Okay? Like, don't, like, you gotta, like, they also have the impossible balance of trying to make this accessible for people who have no idea what the heck is going on with Bendy and make it work for people who have been with Bendy for a long time. And I think that there are a lot of movies that struggle with that. I think FNAF definitely struggled with that. Like, I know the baseline of FNAF stuff because, like, I've watched a number of Game Theory episodes on it because that was funny. But if I were not a FNAF fan, would I? Well, actually, no, I'm not a FNAF fan. I just know things. But if I knew nothing about FNAF, would I be able to watch that movie and still have an understanding of what's going on? And I think also, hey, if you're a FNAF fan and you're really into it, can you separate this from all the other media easily or no? I don't actually know.
Yeah, that's
Because I'm not a FNAF fan.
I think Bendy's gonna have a little bit more difficulty because, like, FNAF,
Yeah.
at the base, at the end of the day, you could easily explain it as haunted animatronics, dude in purple committed the moiters.
Committed crimes!
Yeah.
We love a good
Purple guy
crime.
fucked around, everyone else found out. Is baseline explanation of FNAF. Bendy is more,
Yeah.
a little bit more difficult to explain
I
to
mean,
somebody who's gotten
there's a
no clue.
guy, he decided, I'm gonna turn people into cartoons. Why? Because. That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It's like, I as big a fan of as I am at Joey making a fan fiction dimension to torture all of his, coworkers, it's like, what was the purpose, dude? What was the point?
Yeah.
What was your goal here? Because that's still not clear. And we are like 2 mainline games, a couple spin-off games, and several books into this. And we still don't know what your deal is, Joey.
Yeah. And going, oh, it's an evil Walt Disney is like that one meme.
Not enough.
Do you know how little that narrows it down?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so I guess that's the other thing. Like, are we going to give Joey a more solid motivation this time? Or are we going to make whatever his motive has been this entire time more clear? Because let's be real, they could change his motive. Because it sure does feel like they did that in Batim.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, it felt like, belief could you could even cheat death itself, and then it's like, it's not really about cheating death because you died. Well, no, not because you died, but like, he died.
His dignity died.
What dignity?
Exactly.
Beth.
Not wrong.
No. But I'm stealing your spleen.
The illusion of living, we got a bit of a glimpse into Joey's motivations and background and stuff, but there was still a lot left out.
Like, why are you turning people into cartoons? Which, to be fair, if I were writing a Joey Drew memoir, I would not expect that information to be in there. Because in universe, this is a published book. And you can't just say you're turning people into cartoons in a published book. What are you, nuts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be fair, Joey publicly admitted to
other things. Like, Bertram.
In murder, a woman admitting to murder and not being arrested, and very high socialite lady who could easily ruin his reputation. But anyways,
Yeah, that was not your best move, Mr. Drew, which, I'm okay with.
but yeah,
Like, let him be a little silly.
as a treat. But the other thing is like the illusion of living is the illusion of living is part of the book. It's not like the book itself is part of the game and stuff. And the thing that I most particularly want, because I have a feeling we will not be getting it in game, is like I want to know how Joey and Henry met. Why did they decide to do a studio together? Why did Henry leave? Why did Joey take it so bad? And
Yeah.
then the cycle stuff. Like, there's a part of me that's almost half expecting it to be here's Joey getting manipulated by Kent. Huzzah! Woohoo! We just streamline to Bat DR stuff. Or more particularly, the Cage stuff.
Yeah. It does make me wonder, like, how they're going to handle certain things. Like, what is Gent going to be up to? If they're even in this movie. Like, I don't even know.
I don't want
Honestly,
Gent. I don't want Gent.
Kaiju, you should read the Bendy books if you can find them. Like, I highly advise going to your local library and seeing if they're there because they're great. Like, genuinely. Original Dreams Come to Life is really good. And a good starting point, given it's the first that came out.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones, they kind of move away from the studio a little bit, but that one, that's in the studio. It's yummy.
I,
Oh, man.
yeah, I don't, I feel like if they include Ghent, the risk is that it will become less about the Ink Machine and Bendy and Joey and Henry and that
Yeah.
the Batim stuff, and it'll just become ooky spooky corporation kind of thing.
Yeah. That's kind of what I don't want it to be. Like, I also don't want this to have to be set up for something else. Like, I want this movie to stand alone, like
Yeah,
be a solid thing on its own 2 feet. Like, I was actually talking with some friends earlier, and one of them was like, "Yeah, so I do not want this to have sequel baiting," and I'm like, you know what? I hadn't thought about it in those terms, but yeah, I don't want this to have a sequel. Like,
yeah,
don't hint at anything. Just let it be what it will be on its own. You're not a movie franchise. You're just, it's fine.
yeah. I'm with you, Bernie. If they end up including Ghent, then we need to find a balance with it so there's not too much of it and they keep the plot focused yet interesting. Um, yeah, and because the problem with Ghent, it is less of a cautionary tale about greed and ambition and more evil corporate power. It's basically Ghent has somehow managed to be. I can't remember what our conversation was about, but but was talking about Tom because Tom is part of Ghent and everything, and Tom essentially being the trope neighbor or the cliche face of the cliche about evil corporation behind the scenes disguised as a construction company and they come in and they help with the horrors and it's just that's not what I want. That's like there's a
Yeah.
lot. The horrors don't need to have an evil corporation behind it. The horrors just could be an angry man throwing a temper tantrum and he got the
Hmm.
wrong book and pressed the wrong button.
Joey when he uses the wrong microwave.
Exactly. Um, as much as I wish that the movie was animated to Haps Shut, um, and see you later, Kaiju. I
Take
think
care.
I think the I want aspects of there to be animated, but I feel like a fully animated film would just not. I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this, but basically, there is an unfortunate stigma with animated films that they are strictly for kids.
And
And
you would fear if it's really meant to be scary that kids would see it and it's like, oof, that's not good.
well, I think it's more that Mike in particular has been very adamant that Bendy is not meant for kids, at least recently. It's not meant for
Yeah.
kids. Kids are not the audience. Basically, all but saying, boo, go away, kid children, shoot, buzz off.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh man. How in 2024 are we still not past that? Well, it's just the nature of the industry. It's going to take some really significant change to get us past that, I think.
It's a
Like,
complicated history in animation, which we
it
don't have
is.
time for.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, I've been reading articles about this recently, but I don't feel qualified to talk about it and explain it. Like, yeah, like, I think that there's things that you can do with animation that are scary and adult and mature, but it's like it's really tough to get in there. Like I think back to Jim Henson and the Muppets, right? You
Mhm.
know, once he did Sesame Street, everybody's like, puppets are for children. No. Have you watched the Muppets? The Muppets are not always for children.
Kermit had a
Sometimes they are.
Glock.
Kermit had a Glock. Like the Swedish chef over there, he's kind of scary, you know. Wasn't there what was it called? The Muppets Sex and Violence? Like
I
I'm,
can't.
I'm pretty sure that's a thing that aired at one point.
Yeah, there's a lot of yes. Jim Henson made the Labyrinth and the Dark Crystal, and those weren't meant for children. And I think
Yeah.
um, it's like Rubber Hose animation is not meant for kids. Let's
No,
go.
it's not.
And I think there is a. I think the other thing is also that Bendy, while based in an animation studio and based, in this Rubber Hose area, I think it almost does a disservice if it's all real life or all animation. I think it has to be a
A
blend.
balance.
Yeah, a balance, a blend of the two, because that's essentially what the story is the the I don't want to say logical extreme, but the logical extreme of blending animation and real life together.
Yeah, well, that's part of the inherent horror of Bendy, where it's like the animation has become more than animation, and it's like, hey, it's bled into reality, and that's fun, that's interesting, that's terrifying, frankly. Um, but like for me, it's like I really hope that there's a mix of animation in this thing. Like, yeah, I love the practical effects. I want more practical effects in movies. FNAF proved we can do more of it. I mean, they didn't need, FNAF's not the only one, of course, but it's like we switched to CGI for so many things, and part of that, that's a really complicated topic why we use so much CGI. I want there to be practical effects because that's great, but I also want there to be animation of some kind in this movie, and it could be CGI or hear me out. We do have these lovely 2D animated Bendy cartoons. How freaking creepy would it be if you just have, little Alice Angel on the screen there, the only cartoon that can talk, that's why I'm using her for this example, where it's like suddenly she's talking to whoever our protagonist is and breaking what she's supposed to be doing in that scene. I think that'd be great. That'd be terrifying.
That could actually be a really fun lead up to the to Twisted Alice.
Oh my god. If they took her jump scare sequence, but like, and you know how there are those little TVs in the room that
Yeah.
Alice's head is on?
Yeah.
Like they switch it to animation of her, and then that directly addresses our protag. Oh, that'd be so fun. Oh, I want that.
Yeah, or just like having the little cartoon Alice leading to the Twisted Alice room.
Oh yeah, maybe she
Come
like walks
follow
across a bunch of screens.
me. Yeah, come follow me. It'll be safe. I'm here to help you. Congratulations, you now have a new job as the errand boy, TM.
Sorry you fell for it. It was just too easy. Oh god, I love them.
Hello,
Yeah,
Leo.
hello. Yeah, no. Okay, I don't know if it's Zion or Shion, but yeah, no, you're correct. uh, if it doesn't happen in the movie, I'll make it happen. I'll write a fanfic or
Yes.
learn to animate. I will not learn to animate. That's a lot of work.
We'll figure something out.
Listen, animatics be darned. Maybe we could work our way up to that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, the idea is that because the movie is supposed to be based off of the first Bendy game, in the sequence, in theory, in the sequence leading up to meeting Alyst in chapter 3, you enter the room, there's the lights, Alyst is singing, and then lights cut out, and then the jump scare of Alyst in the flesh screams, I'm Alice Angel, and then cut to black. Then she's gone.
Yep.
And our hypothetical idea is that the protagonist, be it Henry, another person, whoever, follows this cartoon version of Alice that's like trying to lead him, saying like, "Oh, this way is safe. This way is helpful. You can trust me. I'm an angel. I've been sent from above to help you." Doing stuff that no one would know any better, and talking directly to the protagonist, leading them to the area, and then the song and dance, and then jump scare and surprise. You have been conscripted into being the errand boy.
Oh my god. Zion, if Steamboat Willie makes a cameo. I feel like if Steamboat Willie made a cameo, it would specifically be to establish that Joey hates Disney. And also, like, maybe it's Bendy cutting his head off or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking back to the Stupendium's Find the Keys a little too much, but oh my god.
That would be funny.
Like, I don't think they could get away with that, but it'd be funny.
They technically could probably get away with Steamboat Willie cameo because he is public domain. I think they'd have to be very careful because
they'd have to be thoughtful.
Yeah, they have to make it thoughtful and they have to make it careful because you really don't want to give. You don't want to upset the mouse. They take a mile.
Yeah.
But yeah, the.
But yeah, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do have to admit that this was like director-wise, this was not what I was expecting. I was not like I had no thoughts about who the director was going to be because I don't really know directors.
Yeah, me neither.
But I do appreciate that we do have that this hit my expectations of what the video was going to be, what the big news was going to be at the end of the Bendy Halloween week we've got.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a part of me that was like, okay, we're going to get the plot twist that Mike and the Meatley are directing it, and it's going to be them. They're going to have.
I'm really glad that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like not from like any comment on the two of them, not at all. But like they are new to the world of making movies, and I think of all things they need someone for their first and maybe only movie. There's a learning curve to making a successful movie. Okay? Yeah. Like that is a different beast than making a game or a book or what have you. So having someone who is a professional who knows what they're doing, that's really important. And I hope that they're having the good conversations. I hope that they're being thoughtful. I hope that, they're learning, that everybody's learning from this experience. That would be ideal. That would be great.
Yeah, I was like, I think this is obviously an assumption, but I feel like they're kind of doing it like how the FNAF movie was handled, where Scott had his hand in basically everything,
Yeah.
and like everything had to go through him in order for approval. He was helping write it. He was helping with the casting and basically learning on the fly how to handle the
How
whole
to
movie
movie.
aspect.
And it's like, was he doing that in the original version that didn't end up going through, or was he just doing that in the new version?
He has
Or
had
do
a
we not know?
from what I remember, he has had a hand since basically the beginning. He was trying to figure out scripts. In
Yeah.
interviews, he was answering phone calls on his way down to New Orleans when he was helping when they were starting filming. Like
Yeah.
massive learning curve for everybody involved, especially for him.
Yeah. Like, I remember watching Matt Pat's vlog about the FNAF movie and just, like, everybody chatting him up being like, "Oh, tell us about FNAF." And it's like, "Hey, what is this that we're involved in? We wanna understand more, we're excited about it." And it's just like, man, I really hope that that's the case for Bendy, because holy cow, I hope people get excited about being a part of this. I
Yeah,
hope they have fun. Like, if you're gonna go to the trouble to make a movie, I hope it's fun.
yeah, that's
Like
it.
like even if I don't like something in the end, I want the people who are a part of it to have a good time and, obviously get paid and be paid well. But like, I want them to have fun because you don't just be an actor if you don't enjoy acting. I mean, I can attest to this. I'm a voice actor. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it. I
Yeah,
hope that they have a great time.
yeah, that's the important part. It's like I want everybody to be respected. I want everybody to be treated well during this production, and I want them to have a lot of fun. Like even if the film
Yeah.
is going to be like a serious, scary, light humor aspects. Like I want when the bonus scenes come on, become available. I want I want it to be like the Pixar bloopers where everybody's just having a good time. Everyone's
Can we
laughing.
please get bloopers? Oh my god.
I want the dude that's in the suit for the ink demon. I want him to do some rave dancing. Let's recreate the
Oh my
stickers of the
god.
machine scene.
As long as there's a flashing lights warning, I'm into that.
Yeah, that would be fun. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, if you would like, Kat, we can talk about the other stuff that was announced during this week.
Sure. Anything you want to start with?
Um, I mean, the main stuff that happened was the pumpkins and the bats and the floating candles
Yeah.
in both games.
Yeah, so for those unaware, because we might have some people who are unaware, this week and still going on until the end of today, there was the Halloween overlay for Bendy in the Dark Revival and Bendy in the Ink Machine, surprisingly enough, called Ink Demon's Eve. And in it, you can interact with cauldrons and pick up skulls and knock on doors and look at pumpkins. And that's about it.
Yeah, and Bendy and the Ink Machine, you got to look at pumpkins and bats in some of the chapters.
Frickin' bats. I actually loved the bat decoration. I know that it's a typical Halloween bat, like it's nothing special, but I mean, as somebody who really likes Gwen from Bendy and Nightmare Run, I was happy to see some bat representation.
Yeah, for
We
sure,
love bats.
for sure. Um, and
I
Carly
mean, I
got
was
some representation in Bat DR.
That's right. We have a Carly mask now, and that was a thing. I'm happy. It's good to see more for Carly. It does make some questions in universe though, because it's like, okay, so we have Carly, and she has a mask now.
Mm-hmm.
Does this imply that this character made it past the you're scrapped stage? Like, was she actually in any comics or cartoons, or is she just, or did somebody just carefully handcraft a Carly mask in this inky world?
That does bring up a good point. Maybe, because Jane was very desperate to make it happen and to talk to Joey. I feel like Joey would have very much exploited Jane for that.
Oh yeah.
But it's also kind of like, what
Like, did Carly make it beyond?
did Joey just be like, yeah, sure, sure, Jane, I'm gonna stab you in the back and I'm gonna steal your work later. Bye. Or was it
I
really?
mean,
Or was it legit? Did she legit make it past the concepting stage?
I would love it if she did. I mean, for Pete's sake, because I feel like she may have, because it's like, hey, Carly is a character, like, we don't really know much about Carly as an established character, but I feel like having characterization for Carly would at least aid in bringing this character to life in a 3D form. I don't know. Carly's an interesting case because I feel like Carly should have been foreshadowed before Pat DR came out.
Yeah.
Like, just like put a scrapped concept page in the Crack Up comics. Put her as a background character in the Crack Up comics. Just something. The Crack Up comics was the place to reference her, and they didn't, because they probably didn't have her concept in mind when that book was in production.
Yeah. And it would
But,
like they couldn't. I shall always be part of camp. Andre and Jane should have both been characters at that were Audrey's coworkers
at
who,
Archgate.
yeah, at Archgate, who got trapped in the cycle because I refuse to believe that this was the first time Wilson actually did the whole, oh, Audrey, oh, person who's staying staying late. Come help me.
Can you help me with something?
So, because I feel
I'm just
like
a feeble old man who can't move things or clean to save his life, even though I'm a janitor.
I am so sad. I'm Mr. Lonely.
Oh my god. Like,
because that helps. It helps establish more of Archgate. It helps stress the dangers because it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is what
Andre
happens.
hasn't come in this week.
That's why I have to stay late, because I have to do his frames plus mine. Jane's missing. God, that would help explain, give more personality for Audrey. Like, how does she feel about her coworkers? How, what's her interactions with the world?
Is she the only person working here or not?
Exactly. And give us a feel. It also adds to the danger in regards to she needs to get out because, oh, we saw what happened to everybody else. We can see, that Wilson is a legitimate threat. It helps give more to the world than just, oh, than what essentially in game was. This is the events of Susie 2, except screaming boo at you.
Yeah, because let's be real, Jane and Carly, their whole thing, it is Susie 2.0, except with a lot less fleshing out. And I think it needs more fleshing out for me to really get behind her, because the only way that I have come to like Jane is in writing fanfiction about her. Granted, the same thing happened with the Keepers, but, then the Keepers actually got better.
Yeah.
Like, the Keepers are interesting. And also they're sassy, and I like sassy. But yeah, no, it's like, it was nice to see Carly represented in this update just a little bit. It does lead to a lot of questions. Like, it's interesting that we had so much that's associated with ghosts, but like nothing special with Carly herself.
Yeah.
Like, so we actually streamed with my good friend Friendly from The Friendly Introvert recently, to explore the Halloween update, because I was just not willing to be the one in the driver's seat. I'm going to be so real with you. When we did that, we did not open the box to get Carly out, but Super Horror Bro did. And there's nothing different with her, to my understanding. She's same old Carly. And it's like, that's a bit of a shame, because it's like we have all these floating candles and her mask, and it's like, we could really do something with ghosts, since ghosts keep being a thing we come back to in this series and then don't really expand upon.
Yeah. And also, to answer your question, no, we have no idea if time moves the same when inside the ink machine or not.
Yeah.
It might get addressed in Bendy 3, but that's also under the assumption that Bendy 3 will focus on the aftermath of Audrey's little shenanigans, or if we'll just go to a different character, different aspects, dealing with.
Gonna be Riley Wells. Ugh.
If they remember.
I Secrets of the Machine.
Secrets did get a little mini update, but it was just mainly pumpkins.
Mainly pumpkins. They put a pumpkin on the Bendy mannequin.
And yeah, that was pretty much it for them.
I mean, I'm told he moves slightly slower now, but I haven't played it to verify that. I've uninstalled it.
Yeah. It's
Boris, I don't think, got an update. Because they're not gonna.
They're saving that for Lone Wolf, which I'm going to be real, to be honest. I appreciate that we have not, at the moment, knocking on wood, have not gotten the Lone Wolf drop yet.
Yeah, it's not the right time.
Yeah. We also got some information regarding Lone Wolf.
Yes, we did. I'm excited, confused, questioning. Yeah, so we now know that it is coming out on basically every major, console and PC, so every major platform. So that's interesting. Is it also coming to mobile? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's also coming to mobile, which is weird. I don't get who plays Bendy on mobile. I know multiple people who do, but I just don't get them. Like, guys, how can you do anything on that tiny little screen? Nuh-uh, not my vibe. But not only is it coming to every major console, and not only is there combat, there's bosses? I missed this originally until somebody else pointed it out in the text, and it's like, there are bosses? Why? Who? Where and when and why?
Yeah, it's a little weird. Not gonna lie.
Who am I fighting? Not the Ink Demon. He's already killing me.
I don't know if Boris needed combat in that kind of sense.
I don't think he did. Bendy combat does not have a good track record. I hesitate with them adding so much combat to the next 2, maybe 3 games. Please improve the combat if you're gonna have that much. I just have several questions.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, like, for me, part of the horror is being a little bit defenseless, like having to run and hide and, not being able to do much against the monsters, I think, is part of what's appealing about it. When you suddenly say, oh, you gotta mow down hordes of enemies, that's not horror, that's just a video game. That's a beat 'em up. That's Sonic Unleashed. It's not Sonic Unleashed, but that's the only beat 'em up game I've ever played to have a frame of reference. I'm not in Bendy for the combat. I'm in Bendy for the story, which was really a horrible decision on my part, but really that's not my choice. It calls to me. It's such an intriguing premise, but God, it needs more story.
And apparently they're going to be finishing up the story in which I am curious to see where they'll go with the quote unquote finishing up of the story, because yes, the story is not technically clear because if we go by the main Forest in the Dark Survival, the main quote unquote story part where you get the pieces of the thing that's in the safe house in chapter 3, it's like the man that Boris once was. You can't, there's not really a way to end that story without basically throwing a stick of dynamite into your fan base.
Yeah.
Because if you say it's Wally, well, then people are going to be like, what do you mean it's Wally? If you say it's one of the if you say it's any human formally, your fans are going to get mad because what do you mean this random dude gets to be a Boris and Henry, the main dude Stein, is not. If it's, if it's, oh, if the twist is, oh, this is one of the early attempts at memory Joey, and he wasn't perfect, therefore Joey was like, screw it, I'm gonna put, you're a Boris now. Well, that doesn't help Joey's story. It doesn't help Joey's case in looking like just a misguided dude.
Which, it does make you wonder what are we supposed to get out of Joey as a character these days? Because I'm getting some real mixed messages on, is he a horrible dude or is he not? Like, what do the devs want us as the fans to think he is versus what he actually is? Like, I don't know. But it's like, yeah, anything with Boris's identity is going to be a mess. There are, like, God, you see, but the books aren't canon! Or rather, as it was originally worded, the games determine the canon. That's different than the books are not canon, by the way, but heaven forbid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if Buddy is suddenly a games character, there are going to be some people that are ecstatic and some that are going to riot in the streets.
Yep.
There's no way to do this well at this point. It's going to be a mess no matter what they choose. I just hope it's at least an entertaining mess.
Yeah. Like, the other issue is the mystery box, because I still have a sneaking suspicion that with all the hype that they have given the box, more or less,
It's
it's going to be a
yeah.
troll.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a troll in Secrets of the Machine, so why wouldn't it be a troll again? And it's like, I just... Like, we do not need to pull the FNAF thing of what's in the box. This is one of those things you shouldn't take from FNAF.
The thing with FNAF is that there was, like, Scott has admitted, like, yes, the box was supposed to help kind of piece together the story that I wanted to intend. And then he saw how the fans reacted to everything else and was like, for my safety, no. Just no. We're gonna put the story has changed. We're gonna keep the box the box. Hello, Jaden.
Hey.
But yeah, I don't. What's in the box? What's in the box? And
gotta find out what's in the box.
Yeah, like, I don't feel like there's going to be a satisfying thing in the box, especially since we have established, thanks to BatDR, is that if it can't be a person, there's not really an identity, like, unless the twist is like, oh, Memory Joey was misinformed or lying about the clones, then
And it's Henry's address.
But BatDR kind of wrote. Hold on. To answer the question, we don't know when the movie's coming out. The director has been announced, but that's essentially the gist of what we know, and that's what's publicly.
He's like, soon, but that means nothing.
Yeah. The issue that I have with going back to, like, Bat Tim and Boris in the Dark Survival, Boris the Lone Wolf, or whatever, is that Bendy in the Dark Revival has established new rules and regulations, I guess, for lack of a better word, even with Joey being the one giving us the information. Because there's nothing to argue against except previous knowledge that we know of Joey and everything.
Yeah.
But even that gets called into question because that canonicity is now
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah. So Bendy in the Dark Revival has basically said you can't have any reveals of former humans unless it's Wilson's doing or against doing. But if Gent did it, it's not, oh, they were a cartoon character or anything. It's they're a lost one or lost one adjacent,
in theory,
or a keeper in theory.
Yeah. I mean, there's also, like, I'm gonna be really interested to see what they do regarding Gent stuff in the future. Because before we got the announcement that suddenly the books aren't canon anymore, we had Fade to Black, which gave us something I never expected this series to do, which was take a YouTuber cameo audio log character from Bat DR and flesh him out outside of the cycle.
Yeah.
Like, Archie Carter was something interesting about Fade to Black. Holy cow.
We
And the book's been
stand
out
this
for a
crazy
year.
man.
I feel okay saying it. Yeah. Like, I'm curious if Archie will come back in any capacity. Because if he does, oh boy, I have some questions.
Yeah. Archie was a true gift. 100% agree.
Archie was like one of the best parts of Fade to Black, frankly. And it's like, yeah, I'm biased. But like, it was so interesting. It still makes you wonder, does Super Horror Bro even know?
I hope people told him, because
I hope he figured it out. I hope he read the Bendy books.
yeah. But yeah, like, I just like, Ghent is in a weird, semi-precarious position, I guess, for lack of a better word. Words are kind of
Yeah.
throwing me. Stream of conscious time, where depending on where Ghent goes, it could either be something we haven't seen before, or it's just basically going to be every other currently out there mascot horror, indie horror, like, because FNAF has the Evil Corporation with Fazbear Entertainment. Poppy Playtime has Poppy Playtime and their new construction company that's from the ARG. Indigo.
They have a construction company.
It is a construction company.
No.
Yup. They do the dirty job so you don't have to, and they're great at cleaning up.
I hate it.
Any less subtle, and it would have had neon lights.
Wow.
Indigo Park has technically the Indigo Park corporate, Indigo Park. A lot of the mascot horror and indie horror that's come out and popular has gone the route of the evil corporation that's doing the body horror stuff and
And there's nothing wrong with that.
stuff. Which, yes, there is nothing wrong with that, but it's also kind of like, okay, Gent, are we gonna just you guys were
Are you another evil corporation?
Yeah, you guys were technically a first, one of the firsts, but also it feels a little bit like it'd be late to the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I have questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. I don't know. It's weird. I'm curious to see what will happen because of it.
Yeah.
And I'm skeptical, put it nicely. But we also got Cage news as well.
We did.
Let's see. Gotta pull up where the Cage news was so we can read it. Demon's Eve. Oh, one of the things that updated was that the Cage now has the update where if you have a filter where you get asked if you want to look at mature rated games,
Yeah.
it'll pop up and be like, hey, are you sure you want to see this? And which is very helpful. Gives us a little bit more information. Oh, here we go. The project update. Cue my dramatic reading skills. Bendy the Cage has
Mm.
been silent too long, but don't worry, nothing is being canceled. Earlier this year, we determined that the project was not shaping up in the way we wanted it to. Overall, the concept was solid, but we just weren't reaching the feel we were hoping to achieve with the game. We wanted a game with a very different tone than we had seen in previous Bendy games, so we decided to step back for a few months to work on other Bendy projects. This turned out to be a great idea that refueled our creativity to the game. We came back to Bendy the Cage recently with fresh eyes and new excitement. So production is now back in full swing and we're expecting a 2025 release. Bendy the Cage is a smaller game but a heavy experience. It is designed to be our most brutal and horror centric game to date. We will always do our best to make something cool for you all and honor the Bendy community's expectations. See you in the pit, Joey Drew Studios. Which,
That sure is a statement.
yeah, it's gonna, it's, yeah, like it gives us some information, but it's also not a lot.
You wanted a little bit more.
Well, here's the general mature content warning. The developer on the Steam page contains depictions of bloody violence, gore, and torture, psychological horror, scary images, and mature themes. Yes, that gives us something, but that also gives us nothing.
Yeah.
And, like, I appreciate a little bit more transparency with it. Yay, thumbs up. The problem I have is that this doesn't. Mature themes in psychological horror mean a lot to different people.
Yeah.
And their impact has different effects. Like, some people, their idea of like bloody violence and their metaphorical line in the sand is something like the first Friday the 13th movie or early days of like slasher horror where technically you could see some of the kills but they weren't super graphic. And another person's line in the sand is like one of the saws where like it's super gory, super torturous and whatever. And I feel like I don't want the cage to basically my fear is that the cage is not only going to be required reading, but all of the like a lot of the horror and terrifying stuff is going to be out of nowhere and not done with any tact.
Mm.
And that's frustrating. It's not something I want. Like, and I'm also concerned that the cage will just be gore and horror for the sake of gore and horror instead of doing the important thing of like establishing Joey and Bendy's or Henry's relationship, showcasing why, you know, how everybody got there at the end of the cage, even though really it doesn't matter because Audrey was able to successfully save the day.
Yeah.
And
like
yeah.
I have a lot of questions about, this being required reading or not, because it's like they do want to tackle something that is very different. So I'm expecting them to kind of play it safe and not giving us a lot of new information, which I guess for me as a Bendy fan, I want new information. especially because what we got with previous entries is kind of minimal. And a bunch of it was just thrown out the window because, again, book canon is complicated. But it's like, this is also the perfect game for us to actually get some insight on Joey and Henry and their relationship. Because it's like, okay, we know going into the cage that this is Henry's story. Okay? So we know that there's Henry. He's doing his thing. He's trying to escape the pit. We also know that he believes that the end reel, which is necessary for the ending of Dark Revival, which we have to reach a conclusion to by the end of the cage, is in the pit.
Yes.
And who has the end reel by the end of Dark Revival? Joey.
Yep.
Memory Joey. So having these two characters cross paths would be really good, actually, and make a lot of sense. But, because we've never actually seen Henry and Joey interact with each other at any point in the series other than the ending of Batim, which is debatable. That's funky and weird, and it doesn't have a lot of clarity to it.
It is.
I want to see what both of them think of each other.
Yeah, because end of chapter 5 is basically Joey talking at Henry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it's like, this is the most logical game out of everything that they've announced for Joey and Henry in some version of themselves to talk to each other, to have Henry react to him in real time. And it would suck if this is the game that most people cannot play when most players are looking to see something like that, because it is so mature and so far away from everything else that Bendy is. I want it to happen, but I also really hope this game is handled tastefully so that I can get to the point where I can see that happen.
Yeah. Again,
that's a tough call.
Gesturing to the insanity and the VR. It's like we're already kind of behind on them handling stuff with TAC.
Yeah. I want to see you improve, boys. I want to see you succeed. Please. Give me something to believe in.
Yeah. I don't think there was any other Halloween reveals or updates as well.
I'm trying to think if there was. Yeah, no, nothing. No announcement of new media. Nothing new on Silent City, which is interesting. I feel like that game is not being worked on at the moment.
Yeah.
Or if it is, it's very much in the background. We do know that there are some things coming down the pipeline, just not because of Halloween news, but because of other dev tweets and, community posts about such things. I guess the other thing that we could talk about very briefly is that with Ink Demon's Eve, Bendy and the Ink Machine has gotten some quality of life updates, which is great. Actually, Beth, very funny thing. You know how when we were playing, so in case you guys are new here, hi, we've recently played Bendy and the Ink Machine on my channel because I had not played through it in its entirety before. So that was really fun to go through that experience because, we're both big Bendy fans, but I have a really hard time with horror games when I'm the one in the driver's seat. But that was a good experience. I'm glad we got to do it together. It was wonderful. Well, we played through it before that update came out because if you know anything about Bendy, the track record for updates breaking the game is not great. So I just wanted to have it while I still had my file intact, and it all went well. I didn't realize that you couldn't move your character while holding the seeing tool. Apparently that's been changed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that, among other things, Sammy's audio log having actually his name on it, the one that gives you the instrument puzzle code.
Oh.
Yeah, that one. His name was screwed up on that for the longest time. So that's finally fixed. And it's yeah, no, stuff actually got changed. There was bug reporting. It was good. I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think there was anything else that was announced in regards to Halloween or in regards to other stuff. I mean, the Bendy Twitter has been very active this week. Um, both with Halloween drawings, with Halloween, encouraging people to share their costumes for Halloween or cosplays. There's been a lot. And it's like the immediately making his usual goofy tweets where it's like, organ music intensifies. It's Halloween, and he had his little costume reveal. Like, it's all the typical stuff, and it's been fun. It's been nice to see the fandom excited. It's been nice to see all the great fan art. I'm happy. Also, did you see what his costume was this year?
No, I have not.
Oh, Beth, you gotta look. It's definitely the most out there of all of his costumes yet.
Oh boy.
It's not bad. But it was not what I was expecting. But yeah. No, I think that's everything. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss while we're here?
Not off the top of my head. I'm taking a look at the... He's an egg.
He's an egg!
This is an excellent costume.
Actually,
Happy Halloween.
I mean, there is one more thing. So,
Yeah.
I happened to look on Twitter for just a very brief moment because something caught my attention. Adrian Crest tweeted something out about the movie today.
Neat.
She says, "This is so cool, very exciting, amazing pick. And it's kind of awesome that we watched The Last Voyage of the Demeter exactly 1 year ago as of our Halloween movies." I'm beginning to think she has no involvement in this movie.
Yeah. Well,
That's just not the type of thing you tweet if you know things, Which is a bit of a bummer. For those of you who don't know, Adrian Cress is the primary author behind the Bendy books, at least the ones that are novels. The ones that are, like the Kravka comics or the employee handbooks, those are handled by different people.
mhm.
But they all fall under Scholastic. Adrian does the novel stuff. She's great, absolutely fantastic. She's also an independent film actor. Her husband and her, the two of them together, made a horror movie that is an indie film. And I have not seen it. I keep meaning to, but I keep putting it off. Like, she knows what she's doing when it comes to acting. Like, if you go to her website, it has the section for author stuff and the section for acting stuff. Like, she's very organized about it.
Nice.
I'm really hoping that she has some involvement in the Bendy movie, be it on the writing team, be it in as a cameo role, just something. Because, like, I love her work. I love her. And honestly, I think that if there's anyone who has experience with, storytelling in movies that they know, it's probably her and
Yeah.
probably Dave.
Yeah. I hope within the next few months, maybe for this year, I do not want the movie to come out next year. I think
No.
it needs to be like a 2016. I think, we're at like
2016, Beth.
or 26, you know what I mean.
I knew what you meant, but we're living in the future. The Bendy movie's already come back
basically.
for the game.
I think, like, in regards to movie news, I just want, like, the rest of the year, next year, I would like to see, like, who is the writer? Who are the actors? Who, like, at most, I want a teaser trailer. Like, pipe dream teaser trailer.
That would be nice.
That is the most that I want. I just want to know who's in it. I just want to know who's writing it. And that's it. Like, I do not want the film to come out within, like, I would prefer it, like, in 1 to 2, 3 years. But yeah.
Just like steady release of information would be good.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing that I would that I would like to see is a steady stream of information that helps manage people's expectations and doesn't set the actors, the writer, the director, the team TM up for the fandom going nuts.
Yeah, we don't want them to get teared apart.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think the last thing I want to add to this is, no matter what happens with the future of Bendy, it does not change what has come before. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's still there. It's still able to be enjoyed. Unless they decide to, remaster Batim and erase the old. Please don't do that. I will cry. But it doesn't change what has happened before. And it doesn't change, that Bendy will still be beloved, even if things do change. I want the conversations that we have about the movie and about everything that's coming up to be respectful. I want it to be thoughtful. But definitely it doesn't change. It doesn't change that there's still stuff to go back and love if you don't like the new stuff. And I think that's really important to remember.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I need to remind myself of that. Otherwise, I'm gonna go nuts. Because it's like there are lots of decisions that have been made with Bendy that leave me feeling some things that I don't really want to be feeling. But I think that there's also a lot that I still love about this. And yeah, that's just where I'm at. Hello, keep it noted.
Hello, keep
Or
it noted.
24/7. You have an interesting username. I don't know what to call you by.
Hello. We are doing well. We're actually starting to wrap up and giving our final thoughts regarding all of the Bendy news that has come out during Halloween.
And there's been a lot of it, a whole week of it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with I'm with you, Kat. I do think that whatever happens in the future, be it good, bad, ugly, inky, we still at least have the stuff in the past to be with. And at the end of the day, it is, if the movie does not live up to expectations, if it doesn't do well or whatever, there's always fanfic.
Oh yeah. No, you know that the fanfics are going to be nuts. Actually, have you read any FNAF movie fanfics? Because I have not, but I want to know if those exist now. I'll have to look for that later.
I think so. I haven't checked the archive of our own for a while, so I don't. I'm fairly confident that there's fanfic for the movie specifically.
Yeah. Because the different continuity, there's a lot to play with there. Actually, I do have one more thought. Wait a minute. So there is one thing that I'm really hoping for in all of the releasing of stuff with this next movie. I really hope they don't put any major spoilers in their advertising.
That would be nice.
Because I'm looking directly at you, console port trailer for Bendy in the Dark Revival. You leave something to be desired. Showing Ship Ahoy Dudley. God, people were waiting for the console version and not wanting spoilers. Why would you do that? Why would you show the final boss?
Yeah. If it's going to be an out of context spoiler, you really need to make it an out of context spoiler. Like, maybe 3 pixels at most.
Yeah. Just please don't make the same mistake. Please. I mean, I know that's, re-releasing an existing product, but just have an understanding of your audience, please. Please.
Yeah, we also, on that note, I would like spoil before the cage, and any of the stuff releases. I want the dev team to be like, hey, make sure you tag your spoilers because that is important.
Pretty please. I mean, you hear me complain about this all the time, but like over with the Poppy Playtime team, why are you using one of the biggest and best spoilers of your chapter to advertise your chapter? No. You do not just use Huggy Wuggy coming out of the TV to advertise chapter 3.
Yeah.
You've just spoiled your best scare. Stop it. Get a clue.
Indeed. But
There's management of expectations matters.
exactly.
But enough of my rambling. Holy cow.
Yeah. But I think that's sure wasn't he wasn't important to the main story, but when one of the scares is that impactful and kind of helps sell one of the mechanics of the game, you gotta have to kind of keep it under wraps a little bit.
Yeah, it's
But
just like, you gotta let people experience it for themselves.
yeah, but we've got to get going. The Halloween
Yep.
spooks are coming soon, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful and safe, happy Halloween, and we will see you next time.
Take care.
Bye bye.